At the beginning of the film, we meet a couple, Sarah and John. John was always busy with his work, while Sarah was pregnant at the time. One day, Sarah became very sick and tried to call John, but he didn't answer any of her calls. When she came back, she received the most shocking news: her son had died. From that day on, Sarah became very worried and sad. She didn't even leave the house. To help Sarah get back to life, John made a decision. They would move to a new house to distract her. Sarah didn't feel bad about this idea, so they started looking for a house online. They visited many places and looked at several houses themselves, but after 1 or 2 months, they couldn't find anything. They thought the idea was useless and were about to give up. Just then, a lady told them about her friend, who had a mansion for sale. John and Sarah went to see the mansion. It was located in a desolate area. When they first saw it, they felt strange, as if the house was haunted. But when they went inside, they were shocked. It wasn't just a house. It was a mansion, a beautiful palace. At the mansion, they met the owner, Amy, who began showing them around. Amy explained that the house was built in 1980 and had taken 20 years to renovate. Everything in the house reflected this. Sarah felt as if the mansion was her dream house. It had everything she wanted. As they talked, Amy made lunch for them. While having lunch, Amy asked, "Why do you want to live in such a desolate place?" Sarah replied, "We've faced many difficulties in life, and now we just want to start fresh in a quiet, peaceful place." Amy responded, "That's a good thing. You both can stay in this house for a day or two, and we can talk about the deal later." Hearing this, John and Sarah were excited and decided to stay. Amy gave them just one instruction: "While you're here, do not open the basement door at all." That night, they stayed in the mansion. The next morning, when they went out to look for Amy, they found that she was not at home. Instead, they found a letter from her. In the letter, Amy wrote that she was gifting the house to them. Both John and Sarah were shocked. How could someone gift such a huge house to complete strangers? Amy had only one condition: do not open the basement door. John couldn't believe what was happening. He thought it might be a joke or that there was some big secret behind the basement door that could trap them. While they were talking about this, Amy's friend, the lady who had told them about the house, arrived with the property papers. John was still unsure about taking the house, but Sarah convinced him. She said, "Look, John, this house has everything we need. If we buy another house, it'll cost a lot to renovate. But here we don't need to spend any money. So what's the problem?" Listening to Sarah, John agreed to keep the house. They shifted into the mansion and spent a few happy days there. Later, they decided to throw a welcome party. At the party, a woman named Lisa showed up. Lisa turned out to be John's ex-girlfriend. John had an affair with Lisa even after marrying Sarah. However, after the death of their son, John ended the relationship. Seeing Lisa at the party shocked John. He was afraid Sarah might find out about her. Nervously, he took Lisa aside and asked, "Why are you here? What's your purpose?" Lisa replied, "I don't have any purpose. I was just invited here by a friend." Before John could say anything more to Lisa, he heard Sarah's scared voice from outside. He ran out and saw a group of strangers holding petrol bottles. They were threatening to burn the house. The strangers warned, "Leave this house peacefully, or we will set it on fire." John was terrified. Fortunately, they left for the moment, but the situation was very disturbing. The next day at the office, John received another shocking piece of news. Lisa, out of anger, had filed a false complaint against him. As a result, John was suspended, pending investigation. He was very upset but didn't share this with Sarah because he didn't want her to know about Lisa. Instead, he pretended everything was fine. At home, during his free time, John couldn't stop thinking about the basement door, the same one Amy had forbidden them to open. Curiosity got the better of him, and he stood in front of the door, wondering what was inside. He tried to open it with a rod, but the door wouldn't budge. Determined to find out, he decided to get the house's design plans to uncover its secrets. John went to the company that had built the house. The employee there told him something strange. "You're not the first to ask for these plans. Previous owners also requested them, but no one else came here in person to collect them. Did you know Amy lived there 20 years ago? But one day, for no clear reason, his wife left with their daughter, and no one knows why." This deepened John's curiosity. He suspected that the mystery of Amy's family was hidden in the basement. That evening, John returned home with the house plans, which looked ordinary at first. He then broke open the basement lock and went inside. First, everything seemed normal. But then, he noticed a trapdoor under the floorboards. When he removed the wooden planks, he was shocked. It seemed like the cellar connected to Sarah's previous house. Panicked, John quickly locked the basement and acted normal so Sarah wouldn't suspect anything. That night, John received a call from Lisa. She threatened him again, demanding he meet her. The next day, John met Lisa and asked her to clear up the false accusations at work. But Lisa, feeling used, became even angrier. She decided to take revenge by telling Sarah the truth about John's affair. The following day, Sarah was at home feeling very unwell. She suspected she might be pregnant. When she confirmed her suspicion, she was overjoyed and wanted to share the news with John immediately. While reaching for her phone, it accidentally fell. As she picked it up, she noticed the house plans lying nearby. Curious, she began looking at them and realized that John had been investigating the basement. Determined to see what was inside, Sarah decided to go to the basement herself. While Sarah was in the basement, Lisa arrived at the house. She had come to reveal to Sarah the truth, that John had been unfaithful to her. But Sarah wasn't anywhere to be found in the house, and Lisa noticed Sarah's pregnancy test. This made Lisa even more jealous, and her anger turned into hatred. When Sarah came back upstairs, she saw the door of the house open and quietly shut it, without realizing someone had entered. When John came home, he noticed Lisa's car leaving his house. Seeing this, he felt both angry and scared. Did Lisa tell Sarah everything? He wondered. John decided to follow Lisa's car to find out why she had come to his house. But after following her for a long time, he didn't learn anything and angrily returned home. Sarah was waiting for him. She asked him why he had opened the basement door. John made an excuse saying, "There's nothing there. I opened it, but I didn't find anything." He didn't tell Sarah about the cellar under the floor, which he had sealed earlier. Then Sarah shared some good news. She was pregnant. John was overjoyed. The sorrow of losing their first son seemed to lessen a little. Soon after, John got more good news. The false accusations Lisa had made against him at the office were cleared, as the investigation proved John innocent. With this, John felt relaxed, and life returned to normal. Excited about the new baby, John decided to set up a room for the baby. While setting up, he noticed a hole in the wall behind a Cinderella picture. Inside, he found a bullet lodged in the wall. He recognized it as part of Amy's old collection. Amy had shown him this collection earlier, and seeing the bullet now made him suspect something shocking. Could Amy have murdered her family? Were their bodies hidden in the basement? John shared his thoughts with Sarah. They were still talking when a sudden knock came at the door. It was the police. The officers brought shocking news. Lisa had been murdered, and her car was found abandoned in the jungle. Because Lisa's affair with John and the accusations against him had become well known, the police came to investigate John. Many people assumed that John had killed Lisa out of revenge. During the questioning, John couldn't say much. But Sarah stepped in and supported him. She lied to the police, saying John had been home the entire day, so there was no question of his involvement. The police left without conducting a deeper investigation. After the police left, Sarah was furious. She had learned from the police about John's affair with Lisa. John tried to defend himself, saying he had ended the affair a long time ago. But Sarah silenced him. She said, "I've known about this since the day our daughter died because of that girl. I kept calling you and I knew you were with her. I tolerated all of this because I wanted to keep our family safe. But now I can't stay with you anymore. I won't let my child grow up with a father who's accused of murder. John pleaded, listen to me, Sarah. I didn't do anything to her. Please believe me. But Sarah didn't listen. She left, and John was left alone, lost in thought. He couldn't believe how so many problems had come into his life. As he thought about it more, he realized that his troubles had started ever since they moved into this house. Could there be a secret hidden in the basement causing all of this? He wondered. Determined to uncover the truth, John decided to visit the man the designer had mentioned earlier, the one who had lived in the house before him and also requested the house plans. After visiting the man's house, John was shocked. It was the same man who had threatened him at the party, warning him to leave the house or face it being burned down. Surprisingly, this man welcomed John warmly, and they started talking about the house. The man said, at first, I was happy to get such a luxurious house for free. But over time, I realized that the house was nothing but a burden. My life fell apart. I got addicted to alcohol and my family left me. That's when I understood that this house was cursed. John wanted to know what was in the basement and why there was alcohol in the house. He pressed for answers, but the man refused to reveal anything. Instead, he simply warned John, never open the basement door. Frustrated and without answers, John returned home. He broke the lock of the basement door, determined to see what was hidden. Sarah, seeing this, rushed to stop him. But John wouldn't listen. Desperate, Sarah hit John with a large stick, knocking him unconscious. When John woke up, it was morning and Sarah was sitting beside him. Then Sarah revealed a shocking truth. She had killed Lisa, not John. Sarah explained, I went to open the basement door, but I didn't find anything. When I came back upstairs, Lisa was on the second floor. She was holding my pregnancy test and looking around the house. She told me, this house isn't yours, it should be mine. You don't deserve this house because John isn't yours. I got angry, picked up my gun and shot her. At first, she wasn't badly hurt, and her life could have been saved. But I panicked. I was terrified the police would come after me, so I strangled Lisa and killed her. John was speechless as Sarah continued. The bullet you found on the wall, that was mine. After killing Lisa, I wrapped her body in a plastic sheet and threw it into the basement. Then I took her car to the riverbank, threw her phone in the water, and burned my blood-stained clothes to erase all evidence. Sarah looked at John and said, Promise me you'll never open the basement door. John asked why. Sarah replied, Because Lisa's body is in the basement. If anyone finds it, everything will come back to me. The evidence is against you, not me. If the police come for me, they'll blame you, and you'll take the fall for the murder. She continued coldly, I've already saved you once by lying to the police. So don't worry. I won't say anything and neither will you. We'll tell everyone that Amy warned us not to open the basement door. John, though troubled, agreed to Sarah's plan. Deep down, he knew she wasn't trying to trap him, but instead, she wanted to protect their family. Despite his agreement, John couldn't shake his unease. Sarah reassured him. There are many missing people in this city. If the police don't find any clues, they'll stop investigating. Eventually, John sealed the basement door again, and life went on. The couple stayed in the house for a long time. They celebrated events, festivals, and gatherings there, and while Sarah seemed content, John always appeared troubled. Years later, a mysterious parcel arrived from Amy, the house's previous owner. Inside the parcel was the key to the basement door. It seemed as though Amy had tested their patience, and now, by giving them the key, she was granting them permission to open the basement. But the basement still held their terrible secret. The story ends on a chilling note. Would they open the basement door or leave the mystery hidden forever?